Hi guys, and welcome to Carol's Universe, tarot readings from the heart. So today's tarot reading is for the month of November 2014, and this is for the zodiac sign of Taurus. So Taurus, your reading really spoke to me a great deal, and it kind of made a lot of sense when I looked at how the cards were running, because usually what I do, as you know, is I pre-shuffle the cards before the reading. I then intuitively pick 8 out, my eyes closed, letting my fingers guide me, letting the energy guide me, and then I'll pick them out, turn them over and kind of arrange them into what I think is going on. It was so interesting, your reading. So interesting, because we have 2 knights, 2 queens, we have a 5 of cups, 2 of swords, 9 of wands, and the Hierophant. So I'm going to start off with the 2 knight cards that I drew. Okay, we've got the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Swords. And I think that this is kind of one and the same thing when I really look at it. The Knight of Cups can either signify that someone's coming into your life for November. So someone's coming in, they're going to sweep you off your feet, they're just a wonderful character, they're, you know, poetic, they're giving, they're loving. They're kind of like the knight in shining armour, coming into your life and kind of just sweeping you off your feet and making you feel absolutely incredible. But then we have the Knight of Swords alongside this. And I think this is kind of one and the same person. I think for some of you Taurians, perhaps going on from now or in the month of November, it's either going to be a romantic situation or it's just a situation in general where something was offered to you that seems really good, that seems really amazing, that seems to sweep you off your feet and make you feel just absolutely incredible. But somewhere along the line, it's either a person or a situation has changed. They've changed from being one thing into the other. So it's changed from being something that was really lovely at first and just everything that you wanted at first into being something that has turned, I don't know, become boring for you, become potentially unpredictable for you, something that's confused you from, you know, it's come in and it's, at first it's just seemed absolutely lovely to you, wonderful. But then for some reason the situation or the person has changed from being this very positive energy that's come into your life to something that's been something potentially quite negative. And I think it's confusing some of you in the month of November, even going on now. So whether this is, usually the Knight of Cups would signify potentially someone coming in, or someone that's come into your life that's potentially seemed one way, but then with the Knight of Swords we have confusion going on. We have, because the Knight of Swords usually signifies potentially someone who is unpredictable, someone who becomes very bored easily, someone who is not as lovely as the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Swords can signify someone who comes into your life very quickly. Very quickly. When we look at this card, especially in the Rider-Waite deck of cards, usually the Knight of Swords is charging. It's charging ahead very fast. It's trying to cut through challenges. It's trying to cut through obstacles. But I think in this case, it's a case of someone's come in, or there's a situation that's happened within your life that at first has seemed very giving, very open. They've had something on offer that's enticed you to something that's leaving very quickly. If it's a person, they potentially could be very tactless, impatient, very bored of the situation. So whether this is a person or whether it's a situation that's going on, definitely I would say in the month of November, potentially going on from now, for some of you Taurians, it's someone that's come in that seemed one way at first, but then has generally changed into being, when I say one way, I mean they've been very lovely to you, they've been very kind to you, they've been very sweet, or the situation's been very sweet, into turning into a situation that's potentially become very sour and not what you thought it was. And I think this was definitely backed up by the other cards that came in. We have here the Five of Cups. Now the Five of Cups is all about losing something, but something being left over. Okay, usually in the traditional, this is why I like using the Rider-Waite. I'm using a different deck today, but the Rider-Waite really does explain things in terms of visuals a lot better than some other tarot decks, but I think that the Five of Cups, usually on the Rider-Waite pack, would show 3 cups being turned over, so spilled out, and there being 2 upstanding cups. Okay, so you've usually got a figure in the middle here, looking towards the 3 turned over, sorry, cups, and then at the back of them is the 2 upstanding cups. And I think what this card is saying is, even though for some of you Taurians in the month of November, potentially going on from now, there's a situation that has potentially soured from being really nice at first to not being so nice. This is saying that you need to look at what you've got left, okay? Because potentially for some of you Taurians, you might be focusing on what you've lost rather than what you've gained or what is still there. So it could potentially, I think, for some of you Taurians, you're looking at a situation and you're focusing on the situation of what you feel that you've lost in whatever this situation was that's going on. So whatever you believe has soured, whatever you believe is not, has confused you, whatever you believe is potentially making you feel upset because the situation has turned from being very nice to not being so very nice, you need to stop focusing on what's turned soured to what you've potentially learned from the situation, or what is left over from the situation. And I think this was definitely backed up with the Two of Swords. I think this Two of Swords on the Rider-Waite pack, we've got a woman sitting kind of like in some sort of desolation, and she's crossed over, she's got her hands across her heart, okay, with 2 swords. And to me that card always also signifies protection, so protecting yourself. I think potentially for some of you Taurians, whatever this situation is that's going on now or potentially in November, it's going to make you very defensive. It's going to just confuse you, whatever this situation is. You're confused from how something that potentially looks so good at first could have turned out not to be so good. And it's made you overprotective of yourself, and it's made you very, very defensive. And I think that this card is talking about clarity and gaining some clarity for yourself, okay, and not being so defensive, because you're still concentrating on whatever it is that's turned sour, or whatever it is that's not being turned out the way that you wanted it to turn out. And it's saying don't be so defensive about it, because in this card it does represent being defensive, protecting yourself, protecting your heart, decisions to be made, difficult decisions to be made, feeling unclear, because on the Rider-Waite deck she's also blindfolded. So I think it's not being able to see clearly within this situation and becoming defensive because you can't see clearly and because you don't know what's going on within this situation. You don't really know what decision to make within the situation, but you need to lose the defensiveness. Okay, you need to look at what's been left over from the situation. Instead of focusing on what's gone wrong in the situation, if there is a situation that has gone wrong, and becoming overprotective and defensive about it, you need to concentrate on what you can learn from it. And I think that furthermore, this was backed up again by the Nine of Wands and the Hierophant card. Now the Nine of Wands, within the wand suit a lot of the time is about career, it's about work, and a lot of the time the Wands cards, to me, they become more difficult the higher the wands, okay? So I think the Nine of Wands is definitely, for me, signifies some kind of struggle going on, some kind of difficulty going on within yourself. This card, as I've just spoken about with the Two of Swords, and that's you being defensive about something, it's telling you to lose your defences. I think this card is really telling you to move on. You've got to move on from the situation, okay? Because you're carrying a heavy burden. You're carrying a heavy burden with you. You're remembering something that's hurt you, and it's going on around in your mind, but you need to lose that. You need to move on. When we spoke about the Five of Cups, and within the Five of Cups, concentrating and focusing on things that have gone wrong rather than what you can learn from them, really this card, I believe, is saying that you need to move forward and you need to stop thinking about the past hurts. Whenever we concentrate on the past, we stay stuck in the past. So you need to really move on. And with the Hierophant card, this talks about wise counsel. And really, with the Hierophant card, sometimes it can depict being stuck being stuck in your own way of thinking about things. But really, the Hierophant is saying that sometimes you need to let people in, because sometimes the way that they view things can give you a new perspective on a situation. So if there are people around you that are trying to help within a situation, you need to look at that advice, because potentially, because you feel a lack of clarity, and because you feel over defensive, and because you are protecting your heart, it might be a case of that you're finding it difficult to look at other points of views, and you're only looking at your own. But because you're actually feeling blinded, and you're feeling a lack of clarity and a lack of perspective on a situation, you're only really listening to yourself, when really it would be a good idea to listen to others and to get some form of all-round advice on the situation. And I think for the final two cards I'd like to show you, and this was really interesting to me, was the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Cups is a very compassionate individual, a very, very loving individual, someone who wants to help, someone who wants to kind of show you how to look within yourself and find the love within yourself, okay? And the Queen of Wands is a very articulate, very astute individual, someone who's very confident, someone who knows who she is. So it could be that these characters, again, work well together. It could be one person, that person even could be you. Potentially, I think if this person is you, you are confident, you are articulate, you are loving, you are compassionate, you are fun-loving, you are vivacious. But somewhere along the line, I think for some of you Taurians, something has stopped you from being that. There's a situation that's come up that's kind of taken your mojo from you, your motivation. It's taken away your confidence, that I believe are depicted by these two cards. And what these two cards are saying to me is you need to get that confidence back. But you're not going to get it back whilst you're feeling bound up by a particular situation that's taken your confidence away. You need to get back to who this person is. If this person doesn't represent you, then I believe it's going to be people coming in, or someone coming in who really kind of encapsulates all the characteristics of these two cards. Someone who is kind, someone who is loving, but also someone who has her head screwed on. And someone who, it could be a he, it could be a she really, because it's a general reading. But I believe that it could potentially be someone coming in to give you that support. And I believe that it's bound up by this, the Hierophant. I believe that these cards all work together. The wise counsel, looking at other people's perspectives, because perhaps by listening to other people and the type of advice they can give you, when you're feeling blinded and you're feeling a lack of clarity, it can really help to free you. So if these two cards aren't you, and you don't feel that you are that person inside, then it potentially could be someone coming in to help show you that you can be this person. Counsel. So I think that the general reading, the overall ethos of November's reading for you Taurians, for some of you Taurians, within the month of November and going on from now, is really that firstly there's a situation that came in, something was offered to you, okay? Something that you bought into, something that you believed in, something that you trusted, and it changed. It let you down. Whatever that situation is for some of you guys, I believe there's a situation that's coming in, or it's already coming, and the situation changed, and it made you lose your confidence, and it's made you feel burdened, and it's made you focus on what you believe that you've lost. So you've lost faith, you've lost hope with this situation, or within a situation that's coming in. But I believe what will come in for you guys is really good, because I believe that for some of you Taurians, it's already there. The confidence is already there. The vivacious person is already there. The compassionate, loving person is already there. But you feel that that's been taken away. And I believe what's coming in is that either people are coming in, or someone's coming in with those traits that wants to show you who you once were, or who you are. And they want to give you good advice. And I believe if that's the case, you need to take it. this reading is really saying, stop focusing on the past. Stop focusing on past hurts. Get your motivation back. Get your mojo back. Okay? So you either need to look within you and get that back, or you need to listen to other people's advice. Because potentially for some of you guys in the month of November, or even now, you're actually lacking the clarity to actually make informed decisions for yourself. And perhaps other people's perspective are actually going to help you get that back. Or if that's not the case, then you need to look within yourself and you need to find that Queen of Cups again. You need to find that Queen of Wands again. But you're only going to be able to do that if you really kind of turn the situation on its head and use your intellect and your articulate nature and your intelligence to do that. Or if someone's offering you advice, if someone's trying to help you, you need to look at that. Because perhaps through not feeling clear and not feeling happy about the situation and not feeling that you're completely sort of entrenched and completely kind of enveloped by the situation, you are perhaps not at the moment your best counsel. So guys, that's the end of your reading for the month of November. I hope that you enjoyed that reading. I hope everything goes well for you. Whoever can resonate with that situation, I hope it does help. And I will see you very, very soon for your love reading for the month of November. And have a great day. Take care.